My name is Luke Talbot and I'm Senior Product Manager at Questback, responsible for our enterprise products globally. The interesting thing about feedback is that it's very instinctive to us as human beings. We use feedback every single day to change the way we behave and to adapt to the things that we do to make sure that we survive. For instance, coffee. I have receptors in my fingers and my eyes to tell me that a coffee is hot. I can see steam rising for it, and when I touch the cup, I can tell that it's a hot surface. And that's going to stop me from burning my tongue. I might burn my tongue once, but from that point on, I'll know that those signals are telling me not to drink the coffee without cooling it down first. It's a very simple, very silly example to show that we use feedback every single day, all the time. And this is how we've evolved as human beings to make sure that we don't just kill ourselves. The concept of a feedback loop is that we don't simply ask people questions, get their responses and move on. What we need to do is take their feedback and work out what we do next. Do we, for instance, work out that they're telling us something positive and it reinforces something we're doing well, and so we communicate that back to the business and we move on? Or are they telling us something negative? Is there something we can do to improve? Do we need to get back to that individual customer or individual employee and resolve that particular issue with them, and then change the way we do things so that we can improve as an organization? So the first and most probably common form of feedback loop is the inner loop. This is where a customer potentially has an issue or an employee has an issue, but it's most commonly customers, and they've reported that somehow. Now, if we've actively asked for feedback, that's how they might do it. Maybe they'll give us a 1-star rating, maybe they'll give us a low rating on our NPS, or give us some comments to say that we've under-delivered. Maybe it was a touch point that we're monitoring, like, for instance, the delivery of a product or service. Now, at that point, if it's a bad score, then we might need to do something about that. And here we're really talking about issue resolution, so it's specifically going back to that individual customer and making them feel reassured. So we're trying to improve the customer engagement and loyalty where we've dropped the ball. This is a very common type of feedback loop, and the important thing here is making sure that customer feels that we care, resolving their particular issue, and then getting those feedback learnings back into the company so that we can try to learn from them. And maybe just give the people inside the company the positive outcome of this particular issue being resolved. Now here it's a very responsive mechanism for feedback loops. We're responding to a particular event. Going back to the coffee, it's exactly the same as me burning myself from the coffee and changing the way I behave based on that. Where things really start to get interesting is when we talk about outer loop. This is where we're not just taking an issue that's happened with a specific customer event or a specific issue with an employee, but we're taking the broader topics. So it's not just one delivery that's late, it's all of our deliveries are late, because that's actually the most likely scenario. It's not one customer who gets a lost package and everybody else is fine and we don't need to worry about it anymore. So what will probably happen is a number of our deliveries will be late. And the right thing to do there will be to measure what's going on, take that back into the organization, ideate with our employees, and then take that feedback and put it into operational change or organizational change so that we can ensure it's not going to happen again. This is the feedback equivalent of us making sure that nobody burns themselves on the coffee by making sure it has a label to say, caution, the coffee is hot. And what we're doing is we're avoiding future issues with customers getting late deliveries, so we reduce the number of customer complaints that we might get.
I actually had mine. My lip is warm.
Oh, that's hot.